Hi guys, welcome to another video of Clever Tag. So in today's video, we will learn how to build in HTML. So by using this project, let me show you the project. So we will learn how to build this project, complete this project. So we will firstly build the HTML part of this project, and later on we will add our CSS, and we will continue learning from CSS. We will move on to mobile responsiveness. So from mobile responsiveness, we then move on to JavaScript. But before we will be doing it step by step, you see, this one now is just HTML and CSS. So after we build this HTML, we will now move on to CSS, how to style the function of the CSS. If you go through what I tell you last time, you know that the function of CSS is to style the page. So all the text on the page was created by HTML. So after that, we move on to CSS. But tonight we are going to build the HTML part of this web page. So let me show you the code before we get started. So here is the code. You can see the code. So this is where we will create our HTML part, and this is a folder, a file for CSS part. This is what CSS look like. This is how we will start the page. So firstly, let me let me tell you what folder we are going to use to build this. We need this index.html. Whenever you want to create HTML, whenever you want to create HTML, you will you will save the folder. Whatever you want to write, you save with the folder with .html, whatever you may put in the front. So the page will actually we automatically know that this is the one I supposed to run. So do you understand me? So now we are going, what we need for this is we go to online and search for, even if you are using phone, you can also do it on your phone. Go and search for code sandbox. So we are going to use code sandbox. I will teach you how to create all what you need in code sandbox. You might sign up for this to use it, or and you might not sign up. So as you can see, I've already logged in, so that is why this thing popped up for me like this. So you might create an account, or you don't actually need to create an account, but it's good to create an account for it to see all what you have done. So it's good to create an account. So after you create your account, just go to the home. You see a navigation that says home. So after you click on the home, it will show you all this. So after you have seen all this, so just new sandbox choose new sandbox and choose the static. So static is for HTML. So this is for React. When we move on to JavaScript, we talk about React. But for now, let's face our what we are doing. So just tick statics. So let's wait for it to load. We are still waiting for it to load. So it will automatically generate some HTML for you. As you can see, it has generates some CSS for some HTML for us. So I have explained the doc type HTML. I've explained the HTML. I explained the head. I've explained what the head contain. So I have explained it, and also I have explained that you see this body, this opening tag of the body and the closing tag, beside inside this body will be all will be we contain or what will be showing on the web page. Did you understand me? So so far we already have learned about the structure of an HTML document. So let's use that knowledge to print our first hello word. So let's write our first hello word. For now, we don't need all this meta, all this. We can also leave it. So let's just leave it. So let's our title will be, let's change our title to clever tag first project. So let's change our title to for clever tag first project and let's save it. So just click Control S and it will be saved. Why is this thing not saving? So yes, it has saved. So if you want to check, you see, if you want to check what you are doing in another tab, so you can come to this place, look at the mouse, follow the mouse. So just bring your mouse, follow the mouse to this place to open in a new window. You see this place, so yeah, open a new window. So just click it, it will open a new window. Let's see what we are building in another window. So as you can see, the title of our page is clever tag first project. So you can see it, here is it, clever tag first project. You can change it to whatever you need. And let's print our first hello word. Instead of what they generate, let's create our own. Let's just close this one. So how can we close this? Let's just do it like this way. So this way is better. So now let's create our own hello world instead of their own. So Control X after what you wrote. So now let's check it. So refresh the page. You can use F5 to refresh the page. So as you can see, we've created our first hello world. So now let's move on to the project itself. I should explain what I teach you the other time. What I taught you the other time. I taught you about the sixth heading we have. We have H1, H2, H3, H4, and H5 and H6. So let's check them out to see how they are working. So this is H1. So let's clone it. Control C, Control V, and change this to H2. This is our, don't forget, let me explain. So I told you that this is the opening tag. This is opening tag. So if you want to close it, you use forward slash and then greater than. So you put whatever you want to, you in your opening tag, you put whatever you want to use. If you want to use paragraph, you can use P, you can write P. If you want to use heading to second heading, so you can use, so I want to use second heading, so let's use second heading. Let's write H2 to it. So don't forget to write the H2 in the opening tag and don't forget to write the same thing in the closing tag. If we change the closing tag to H3 and we leave the opening tag to be H2, it will give us an error. So to avoid that, always cross check very well before you run your code. So now let's continue. Let's write another hello word to see the difference between H1 and H2. Hello word. So Control S to save. So now let's check what you have written. So we load the page. As you can see the difference between hello the heading, first heading and the second heading. You can see this one is bigger than this. So that is the difference between H1 and H2. So let's check for the other ones. So like H, let's clone this. Okay, okay, let's stop like that. So let's put H3 and don't forget to change the closing tag H4, H4 for this H5, H5, for this H6. So now let's save and see what you have done. So now let's check what you have done. So we load the page. As you can see the difference between them. You can see that H6 is very small. You can see the H6 is very small, and you can see the difference between them. You can see the difference between the H1 and the H6. You can see that H6 is very, very small, and the H5 is little small, but the H6 is very, very, very small. So now let's check the other one that I told you about. I told you about paragraph. So now let's check paragraph in action. So don't forget your opening tag and don't forget your closing tag. So let's write welcome to clever tag. So don't forget to save. Now run it. So you can see what we have here. We have welcome to clever tag. So this is the way P will be showing. You can see that P is very, very different from the H1, H2, H6. They are very different. So they use boldness in H like H1, it has boldness, but you can see that for the P tag it's a normal test. It's a normal test. So now let's check another thing that I've told you about. I told you about the proc, the BR, that it is used to break down tests. So let's see that in action too. So let's write, for you to know what I'm talking about. Let me first write welcome to clever tag, a front end learning portal. Let's reload. The network is very bad. I'm so sorry for that. You're still waiting. So now see what we have here. We have welcome to clever tag, the front end learning portal. So this is what I want to do. So for you to understand the break. So I can create another paragraph. Let's create another P. So close the P. So we can copy this. We can copy a front-end learning platform and put it inside another P. So you can see that welcome to Clever is we have break down the if we have break down a front end learning platform, it's now under the welcome to Clever tag. So we can actually do this inside the same paragraph without creating another paragraph. We can actually get that. So what we just need to do is to clean this and create another tag called BR, which is break. So this will break down the text for us instead of creating. You can see it is self-closing tag. It's a self-closing tag. So it will break down the text for us instead of creating another paragraph. So let's see it in action. You see that there will not be any changes if we reload this. Can you see it? There's no changes in it. So that is the usefulness of break. So now, and also I tell you, I also wrote something called HR for you. So it means horizontal, normal horizontal we used to hear. So it will break down the line. It will break down the text and put a line over it. So let's see it in action. So after this, we can create. We can. It's also a self-closing tag. So let's save. So you can see what we have here. We have a new line that between our text. We are doing these things in one paragraph. So that is the usefulness of HTML tags. So and also I mentioned I mentioned comments. So we can also comment. Whatever we put in the comments will not shown in the web page. As you can see that what we write here shown in the web page. So and we can put comments that will not shown in the web page. So let's write a comment here. Before we write the comment, before we turn this into a comment, let's firstly write something to be displayed in the web page. Like let me put P. Let's write out another P. So inside the P, let's write our first comment, our first comment. So let's save it. You see that this thing will display in our web browser. As you can see, we have our first comment here. So I don't want this our first comment to show on the web page. So how are we going to do that? We just go to where we want to comment and put. So if you put this at the first page, at the first before you write whatever you want to write, and you end it with this, it will actually change it to comment. It will actually change the text to comment, and it will never show in the web page. So let's see it. Let's try it out. So let's check what we just write now. So as you can see, the thing has disappeared. So with the help of comment, it has disappeared. If you have a problem in your code and you want to continue with another thing else before you solve it, so you can actually comment out the that code to come back later to it. So this is how to write a comment. And also I tell you about ul, which is an ordered list, and I tell you about ol, which is ordered list. So let's also create our first list using ul. With the help of ul, you can also create ol by yourself, ordered list. So an ordered list will give us our list with bullets, but ordered list will list them by number. So try it yourself. So let me just show you what I mean by unordered list. So let's create a list of students. We should just create something randomly like animals. So cat. So, so, so cat, dog, and save it. So now let's see what you have done in action. So you can see what I'm talking about. This is it. So let me just, for it to make sense, let me do it this way. Uh, let's have HR before the list. So and let's give our list an heading, H1 heading. So let's say favorite animals. Let's just create animals for it instead of favorite something. So let's close our tag and save. So let's see what you have done. Okay, as you can see now, this is what you are doing. This is what you are currently doing. And also let me show you the unordered list, ordered list. So let me just, for ordered list, let's use each one for the heading. Before we forget, let's just use HR to for us to see the difference clearly. So now let's create um what will be our heading. Let's just create food, animals, food. Let's use ordered list for this one. This li means the list we want to show. So don't forget, it means the list we want to show. So now for the first food, the cat food, let's put fish. And for the second one, let's put bone. So now let's save and see what we have done. Let's refresh the page. So as you can see, there's difference between the unordered list and the ordered list. The ordered list will bring out the list in number, but on the ordered list we just list them with a bullet. So you can see the difference between them. So now let's clean this code and let's start creating our first project, the HTML part of our project. So let's create it. So before we create it, what you need, the prerequisite you need to do this is you need internet connection, and also you need you need this editor. So make sure you understand how to get this editor before you start this project. So now let's continue with our project. So now let's clean this one. First of all, let's create the folder we need for this. So just go to this place, new directory, and create a folder. We need image folder. In this image folder, we need to upload all the image we are going to use in the in our project. So you will see an upload files here. So this is where we can upload all our image that we are going to be using in this. So now let's upload the the image. Where's the folder? Image. So now, so let's upload our image. You can upload any image you have. So I also want to upload some image I used to use. So you can also upload your own image. So let's upload this. I need 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 this. I think this is the image I need for now. So let me just click open, and you can see, as you can see, the file has upload finished. Let's check it out. So here is the image we are going to use for this project. So now let's create our project structure before we start. As we need, we are going to create this section by section. So here is an heading. We need the header. So we need the header. We need the nav. Here's the header logo. We need the nav. We need the main section, and we need, here are the main sections. So and also we need the footer. So this is the footer. So it's good to create. It's good to know how many components of your project, how many are they. So you need to know it before you start. So I'm so sorry for the way I'm talking. So guys, please, I'm so sorry. So now let's create our header. Header, and let's close it. So we also need the main section that we contain all these parts. So we need the main section, and also we need the footer. So let's create the main. and also we need the footer. So I'm coming back.